Hello everyone, welcome back to Sai Homeschool. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. So far, we studied acids, bases, salts, and all parts. What we studied: what are acids, what are bases, how acids reacts with metals, how acids reacts with metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates. Then, how it will be acids reacts with bases, acids reacts with metallic oxides. Then, we studied about when does acid or base conduct electricity, that we studied. Dilution we studied, that is concentration solution and dilute solution. And pH scale we studied, importance of pH scale studied. Last session we studied about salts, then types of salts, then the common salts and their uses. So if we come to the last topic of your acids, bases, salts, that is are the crystals of salt is really dry? If you observe, if you if you take a copper sulfate solution here, so crystals of copper sulfate in a dry boiling tube, you have to burn. So you have to give a flame. So what will happen? You have to observe. So water droplets will be evaporates out. The copper crystals will be settled at the down. So is that it will be really dry or it contains water? If you see copper sulfate crystals which seem to be dry contain water of crystallization, means if you observe here, so there is a see here dot 5H2O. If you observe dot 5H2O, see here dot 10H2O, sodium carbonates 5H2O, copper sulfate 5H2O, this compound. So what we will call it as, this is water of crystallization. Water of crystallization. This number is fixed around this. So if you take a copper sulfate here, CuSO4, what we have here is SO4. There is a 5 water molecules. So it will be, so if you take copper sulfate, CuSO4, 5H2 is in 5H2O, it will be surrounded by 5 water molecules. That is water of crystallization. If you observe here, dry contain but water of crystallization. This water of crystallization, when we heat the crystals, water is removed and it turns into white color. That is called water of crystallization. So now define what is meant by water of crystallization is, here you can observe water of crystallization is a fixed number of water molecules present in 1 unit of salt, that is called water of crystallization. Here if you observe CuSO4, it will be 5 molecules of water, it will be present around the CuSO4. That see here 5 water molecules are present in one formula unit of copper sulfate. So if you observe here Na2CO3, there is a 10 molecules of CH2O water molecules will be present in this sodium carbonate. That is one more. If you see copper sulfate, it has 2H2O, means copper sulfate, it will be with the 2 water molecules, that is salts. Crystallization of gypsum, if you observe here, that is how it will happen, we will see. So before going to that, so if water of crystallization present, so which it is responsible for the, so if you observe, you know that copper sulfate will be blue in color, right? When if you start heating this, what will happen? Start heating, what will happen? So water of crystallization evaporates. Here what we can understand is water of crystallization will be responsible for the color of the compound. So here you can say that, so which is responsible for color of any compound is, that is water of crystallization. When we heat, water evaporates and then it will be blue color will be converted into, if you observe here, copper crystal, copper sulfate crystals, it will be colorless. We know that copper sulfate, it will be blue in color. When we heat, the water of crystallization evaporates and it turns to white color. So is that all the compounds what they are having? Water of crystallization is that water of crystallization is responsible for all the compounds to look color? No, no, no. Only few compounds are color. The water of, so only for the few compounds is what water of crystallization is responsible for the color. So if you start heating, that starts evaporating, then the compound becomes white color. So last salt which is present in your acids bases salts, we studied washing soda, baking soda, NaOH, those things, how it will be formed and what is the use of those things. Final one, it is plaster of Paris. So, on eating gypsum at 373 Kelvin, it will lose the water molecules and becomes calcium sulfate hemihydrate. This is called plaster of Paris. So if you look at here, so what we are doing? Gypsum. So what is the formula for gypsum is CaSO4 to H2O. So gypsum here, CaSO4 to H2O, CaSO4. So above you can observe 2 H2O. That is the formula for gypsum. So when we heat this at 373 Kelvin, this triangle indicates heating. So what we will get? We will get plaster of Paris. That is the chemical formula for the plaster of Paris is, this is an important question. They will ask for a 1 mark. So write the formula for plaster of Paris, that is CaSO4 of H2O. So here of H2O is that is what? Water of crystallization we studied above. So if you want to become again this means gypsum, what we have to do? So we have to take a plaster of Paris, what we are getting. So you have to add again this with the water. You have to add water. You will get again gypsum. That is, so the substance which doctors use the plaster of Paris is supporting fractured bones in the right position. So plaster of Paris is a white powder. When it will be mixed with the water, it will become hard and it changes into gypsum. So again it will be giving to the hard solid mass. That is what why we should use to fractured bones means, because it is very hard substance. When bones get damaged, this will be used as a bandage substance. Hardness, it will protect the bones. That is what plaster of Paris. It is a plaster of Paris is a just white powder. When we mix the water with this plaster of Paris, it will become hard. Then it will be converted into again gypsum. So not only of water molecules is shown is attached to water of crystallization. How do you get of water molecules will be because of two formula of unit CaSO4 share one molecule of water. So here two molecules of CaSO4, it will share one molecules of water. That is plaster of Paris. Now what are the uses of plaster of Paris is? Plaster of Paris is used to making toy materials, then decorating homemade making surfaces smooth. So try to find calcium sulfate hemihydrate called. Why does calcium sulfate hemihydrate is called plaster of Paris? So we will give answers for all these questions in the next class. You should be concentrate on question and answers. It is very important for your examination. So here if you look at one look, acid base indicators are dyes are mixture of dyes which are used to indicate the presence of acids and bases. That is pH value, pH scale we studied. No? That is. So acidic nature of a substance is due to formation of H plus ions in the solution. That is what we studied. Concentration and dilution we studied. No? So that is acidic nature as basic nature, which is more acidic, less acidic. That is, it will be depends on H plus ions, and formation of OH minus of a solution is responsible to know the basic substances. Means acidic solutions have H plus ions, basic solutions have OH minus ions. When acid reacts with a metal, hydrogen gas is evolved and a corresponding salt is formed. We already studied when metal reacts with the acids, we will get which metal is reacting with which acid. According to this respective metal and acid which it is going to react, we will get the corresponding salts, and hydrogen gas will be evolved for all the chemical equations when metals reacts with the acids. Then when base reacts with the metal along with the evolution of hydrogen gas, salt is formed which are negative ion composed of metal and oxygen. When acid reacts with the metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates, it gives the corresponding salts, carbon dioxide gas and water molecule. Acidic and basic solutions in water conduct electricity because they produce hydrogen and hydroxide ions. This is very important. We already studied while explaining the electrolysis process. When it is possible to conduct the electricity, when the acid or basic solutions means acid completely dissolved and it liberates H plus ions, then it is possible to conduct the electricity. Because of these ions, acid or base solutions will conduct the electricity. The strength of an acid or an alkali can be tested by using a scale that is called pH scale. This is also pH scale. About what we studied about pH scale, everything will be important. Then a natural solution pH is exactly 7, while acidic solution is less than 7, basic solution is more than 7. This is very important. So living beings carry out their metabolic activities within a optimal pH range. We said already living beings also have one fixed pH values. If the pH values will be changed, then the living beings will get diseases. So mixing concentrated acids or bases with water is highly exothermic. So if you already know that mixing of concentrated acids, bases or maybe bases with water. So while taking a acid, mixing into the water. So we already know that we have to add acid into the water. So while adding acid into the water, what will happen? It will generate heat. So because of generating heat, we'll call that is exothermic reactions. We already know about the exothermic reactions. That is, along with the products, it liberates heat. Acids and bases neutralize each other to form a corresponding salt and water. That is, we studied about in a salts. When acids and bases, when acids is more, we have to add base to neutralize. While neutralizing these reactions, what we will get? Salt and water. We already know that salts are formed in the all the chemical reactions. Water of crystallization. So just now we studied water of crystallization is a fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of salt. That is CuSO4. You take calcium sulfate, copper sulfate, whatever you will take, there is a fixed number of dot. After we will write 2H2O, half H2O, 10H2O. That is called water of crystallization. Salts have various uses in everyday life and industries. That is what we studied. Baking soda, washing soda, that is plaster of Paris, and bleaching powder and sodium hydroxide. These are we studied above. Those things will be very important. The uses of salts, types of salts, and pH scale. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel.